Do you love cheesecake but find the whole baking thing to be a bit intimidating? Say hello to no bake cheesecake. Light, creamy, delicious, and no baking. Hey, you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. This no-bake cheesecake will be whipped up in a snap. So let's get started. First off, we're making a delicious but easy crust, starting off with 1 full cup of toasted pecans. Now, for our big cheesecake, we need a lot of graham crackers. 3 sleeves, 27 crackers, 430 grams, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And then, I'm using 1/2 cup of packed light brown sugar. Okay, we're gonna use a food processor. Tap, tap, tap. All right, it's finally crumbed up now. You can see I have a nice crumbly mixture, and those pecans make it smell so good. 1/2 cup of melted unsalted butter, that's 113 grams. And we're just gonna pulse and drizzle this in at the same time. So pulse, 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 drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. There we go. So when I look inside, 1, 2, I have a mixture that looks kind of crumbly, but I can press it into a clump. This means I can form it for my crust. So today for this recipe, I'm using a 10.5-inch springform pan. We're gonna compact this down. The secret to a crumb crust is to really pack it in. So use your clean hands and work it towards the side so you can create that wall of crust, and then just even it out there. And then you can work it around with your hands for a little bit. And now either get a glass or a measuring cup that is nice and straight and just press it in. So press to the side, then use a taller cup. And as you push towards the side, use your thumb and press down, and it'll compact the top, because that can get kind of fluffy and crumbly, which is fine, except when you have crumbles on top of your beautiful cake. If you've ever had a crumb crust that just falls apart, it's because it wasn't packed in. Well, 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 what do we have here if it isn't a nice compacted crust? This can go into the freezer and just hang out while we make our really easy filling. For our creamy, dreamy filling, we're adding in a lot of cream cheese. This is a good recipe. So that's 4 packages, 1 pound or 900 grams-ish of cream cheese. You could use Neufchâtel if that's more easily available for you. We're gonna cream this up with a whisk attachment. If you were using, if you're gonna bake this cake, which this is not a baking recipe, you can click up here for my cheesecake recipe, which you bake. You wouldn't wanna use a whisk attachment, but this time it's okay. Room temperature, cream it up, just give it a head start. Give it a head start. So after you've creamed it up, just, tamp, tamp, tamp some of that down. Now we're adding 1/3 cup of granulated sugar in. Right, now we can add in 1/4 cup of sweetened condensed milk. I love this stuff. You don't want to add too much of this in. Why? Because you want this cake to set. You want to be able to cut nice clean pieces. So don't go overboard, like add in an actual 1/4 cup, not so it's like spilling out. I might have made that mistake before, so learn from me. Okay, now we're adding in a tablespoon of lemon juice. And this is a whole bunch of nonsense inside here, so definitely scrape that bowl down. There's like rock hard cream cheese at the top, gooey stuff at the bottom. It's not acceptable. Our last ingredient is 1/3 cup of sour cream. Sour cream adds like a little bit of tang, which is a nice contrast, and just even more creaminess. It's gonna blow your mind. Normally, I'll recommend substituting yogurt for sour cream if you can't find it. In this case, I would just say to omit it. Yogurt is not the best substitute. In this one instance. Okay, this looks really creamy. Love the texture. I'm just scraping the bowl down one last time, and then we're gonna mix it again. So let's mix it for a few minutes on a medium speed. I don't want any lumps in here. I want it nice and homogeneous. Do you think I almost forgot something? The vanilla. Hello, 15 ml, 1 tablespoon of a nice vanilla. It's really the main flavor we have in this cake. So you shut it, forget it. I was tasting the batter, like, I really taste the cream cheese here. And I was like, something's different, like the vanilla. Okay, mix that in. That could have gone in at any time, by the by. So it's fine at the very end. Set this aside, and now we're doing a special double bowl day because we're gonna whip up a really quick batch of whipped cream or chantilly cream. So if you can, chill your bowl and whisk. Not necessary, but it's nice for whipping cream. I'm adding half of a cup or 120 ml of a heavy cream. In the US, it's called heavy cream or heavy whipping cream, but I think in other places it's called like double cream, has other names, I don't know. It leads to a lot of confusion in recipes, let me tell you. Now I'm adding in a generous 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Give it a whip and then whip, whip, whip until it has like stiffer peaks. You can't whip cream too much because you'll have butter. What am I, a robot? All right, you can't whip cream too much because it'll turn into butter, not cheese, butter. And if it's too soft though, it's not gonna help this setup. So we wanna take it right to the edge. Keep an eagle eye on it. This is me so grateful I did not have to do that by hand. So you can see right now, it's a really thick whipping cream. I feel bad because normally I like using these glass bowls just so you can see inside, but this is really best for the whipped cream. Take that whipped cream, just plop it right in. Just fold it into that cream cheese filling, so in you go. This is folded in really nicely. I want to give it one final taste test. Gosh, and that tablespoon of vanilla and the whipped cream made a big, big difference. Big. Now, let's transfer this in. This was only in the fridge for like 10 or so minutes. Totally firmed up. It's really nice now. Totally optional, but I'm gonna put this on a turntable and you'll see why in a moment. Transfer this amazingly delicious batter, oh my gosh, into your crust. Sorry, I was lost in thought. It's really good filling. This looks like a mess. What's the deal? Here's the deal. Smooth it out with your spatula. Then use your offset spatula or knife or whatever you want. Your tongue. And just kind of create a little swirl here. Things self-level in the oven, but this isn't going into the oven, so you can be like a little bit extra and have a swirl in here if you want. All right, this is gonna go into the fridge to chill overnight. It really needs that time to fully set. So I'll be back tomorrow, the magic of editing. After a cake is chilled overnight, here's the tip for cutting it. Get your big knife, sharp, and dampen it. Just wet it down, damp, 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 and clean it off between each cut. After you cut in, clean it off, re-dampen it, and you'll get really nice clean cuts, just like this one. Onto the plate. Just add a couple pieces of fruit on here, just because why not? I think it'd be a nice refreshing addition. And that is ready to serve. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe. It is delicious. I've been eating the batter on the slide, but it's okay because there's no eggs in it. It's totally fine. If you like this recipe, check out my cheesecake playlist, all my favorite cheesecake recipes, and like, if you love cheesecake, you're gonna love every single one of those too, just saying. But now it's time for a bite. Oh my gosh, that is like dream cake. That's what it should be called. It's amazing, so just light and creamy. If you like this recipe, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next cheesecake video.